What's the haps? I'm Meroka, and today I'm going to be taking a quick look at Nefarious by StarBlade. This is an action platformer kind of thing, a little bit of Mega Man, there's definitely some Mega Man influence in there. But rather than playing the hero rescuing the princess, it's kind of a twist. You're the bad guy, you get to steal the princesses, kidnap them this time around. Which, I don't know, as an idea has kind of been done before, the you're the bad guy kind of thing. But I kind of feel like those sort of things are usually maybe a little bit more of a tale of redemption, or either just go completely silly and you're a maniac, destroy everything, go crazy. This is more just sort of poking fun at tropes in video games. The whole rescue the princess thing's been done since the dawn of time. So kind of spinning it on its head and having you kidnap the princess, or multiple princesses, but there are multiple princesses. We shall head on to our evil airship and introduce you to some of those princesses. We gotta go steal them all, and then they've all got their different kingdoms and interpersonal conflicts and their own relative heroes and whatnot going on. And ideally, you know, their own villains as well, who are supposed to be trying to kidnap them, but have kind of stolen their job. It's all kind of crazy, and, you know, it plays with a lot of ideas, and it's quite interesting in that regard. So this is our evil airship, flying through the clouds in the night sky, and this is where we keep all our princesses and princes, because we are an equal opportunity kidnapper, of course. We have kidnapped Prince Malachite over here. So we can have a chat to all our kidnappees. Some of these are just our minions who really don't have much to say. It would be nice if they had more different things to say between missions and stuff, but the princesses usually change things up. We got Princess Mayapple here, who is basically Princess Peach, if we're honest. And then we got an Insect Queen, we got a Dwarven Queen running around somewhere. Dwarven Queen, I guess, over here. Hi, Dwarven Queen. So there's 4 different kingdoms, and we've got to go kidnap all the princesses, and basically we're trying to get a collection of, ultimately, five members of royalty, because royalty in this world apparently has powers, and by collecting 5 members of royalty, we'll have all the power, and that's how we'll become the most evil. We can take over the world by having royal powers. But normally within this world, yes, normally we have 1 hero and 1 villain and 1 princess per kingdom, but we've decided to mix things up a bit today, just to cause a bit of ruckus. So this is our jukebox, so we can choose what music we play on here. Each level kind of has its own... Each level has 1 hidden collectible, which is a vinyl record in it, that sometimes seems to unlock 2 tracks, usually unlocks 1 track. I think it's 1 per world. There was 1 world for some reason, added 2 tracks to it for some reason. This is... you get a little bit of money for doing each of them for some reason, and this was from a little intermission thing. The game mixes things up in a bunch of different ways, to be fair. As I say, it pokes fun at a lot of different themes, and to that end, it throws a lot of different game styles in there. So where most of it is kind of your run-and-gun, action platformy kind of thing, this music that I've just unlocked was from the last thing the game did, which was basically a dating show. The game, just for like a quarter of an hour, pulls you out of the action and goes, hey, now we're gonna have a dating show. It's a game show, like, you know, I'm trying to think what it's called, blind date, that kind of affair. For some reason, the game decides to do that. There is also within it, yes, you have to punch the steering wheel to fly this thing, which is great and very villainy. There's like a pixel art, turn-based JRPG style battle. There is what else is there? There's a bunch of different battles that are inspired by different things. There's a stage, I think it's this one that's under the water, which is all done in kind of blocks of monochrome. You know what, I'm actually going to show you that one just because it's a really interesting level, very briefly. This is not what the core gameplay is like, but this is just such an interesting level, I feel like I do need to show you it. So we just drop out of space, collect coins, kind of awesome note style-y, and go get in our... We got a submarine somewhere, I think the submarine's this way. We're carrying one of the princesses with us for this mission. Each of the princesses, when you kidnap them, or take them with you on a mission, provides different powers. So the insect princess, because she has wings, allows you to jump twice as high and gives you a slow fall. But then once we get into the water, yeah, the gameplay just changes up and creates an entirely different format. So we got this device which is basically Robotnik in the first boss battle from Sonic 1, and you do get to use this gadget in an actual boss fight against one of the heroes. You do get to be Robotnik in that Robotnik fight. but for some reason they've just taken the same concept and been like, hey, here's a submarine mission. You need to use the submarine to break your way, swing the anchor around as kind of a wrecking ball kind of thing, try and break your way through underground reefs, and there we go, and go through into the ocean to go treasure hunting for a weird diversion the game decides you're going to do. It's going to be like, yeah, yep, now it's time for treasure hunting. Go treasure hunting. So it mixes things up with a lot of different stuff, but if we exit the stage, I can hopefully show you something a little bit more traditional. We'll go do one of the previous levels I've completed. I fear I may be nearing the end of the game. I put about 3 hours into the game so far. We shall hit up the Insect Kingdom it's the second level in the game, is the Insect Kingdom. So, a little bit of narrative, but blah 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 blah. Some stuff about insects and thoraxes. It's fairly amusing dialogue, to be fair. I get a chuckle out of it. And yeah, and now we land in the Insect Kingdom, and we get to go and visit them. And I hadn't even noticed the attention to detail in the background as everyone notices the villain land in the town and peeks out the windows before disappearing. So this is our more traditional gameplay. Which is, yeah, punch bad guys, shoot bad guys. I got my cannon. You're supposed to have a grenade launcher. I'll show you the upgrade tree a little bit. But for now, yeah, I got this. You're supposed to have a grenade launcher and or rocket launcher. Not and or, just or rocket launcher. It's kind of your basic thing. This is one of the upgrades you get. Basically allows you to completely change up your items. I mean, the triple punch I've got is an upgrade as well, but we'll have a look at the upgrades once we've got through level a bit. So the game is, to be fair, reasonably forgiving. A lot of the enemies die in one hit pretty much, and you gain health quite frequently. You start off with a default of 2 health, to be fair. I've upgraded it to the maximum of 5, which makes things a little bit more forgiving, but you have an infinite number of attempts, and these checkpoints, those little red flags that we're going past, they pop up pretty frequently, and, you know, if you die, you just go back to that. No big deal, it doesn't take you a long way back. It's kind of got a... I think it was... what was it? I think it was Shovel Knight. I think I'm right in thinking it was Shovel Knight that basically had a mechanic that said when you die, you lose a portion of your money, and if you can get back to where you were, you can regather that money and reclaim it. If you die before you get back there, you lose it all. I think it was Shovel Knight. If it wasn't, my apologies to whichever game had that mechanic. Basically, they've kind of pretty much wholesale nicked that mechanic. You lose, I think, about 20% of your money when you die, and if you can get back to it, if you can touch it, or also shoot it, it took me a while to realize this because it was not made abundantly clear, but if you shoot it with this gun or with a rocket launcher or whatever, you do get that money back. And yeah, that's fairly trivial to do, and it's not a massive penalty, really. You are picking up quite a lot of money as you go along through this. So that penalty is not really a big deal, not really a big penalty in the grand scheme of things. So there's not a lot to lose by dying in this. You get as many attempts as you want. So all in all, it's a fairly forgiving game. It might be nicer to see some manner of kind of harder difficulty in the game, but for me, I kind of like the experience. It's a pleasant game to play. It's doing a lot of nice, interesting things that games don't necessarily always do, and it plays pretty well. And I think if you just want to enjoy the experience, that's great, but at the same time, I also think maybe it would be nice to have something for people who do appreciate it a little bit more of a challenge. As I say, it's kind of maybe borrowing ideas from Shovel Knight. Well, Shovel Knight was actually reasonably challenging, whereas this just kind of isn't. Even the areas that do overwhelm you with lots of enemies and can kill you, a lot of them are going to drop health. It's really not going to be too big a deal to come back from it. I don't get this bit. This is like, go minions, kind of sounds like these are your guys, but they attack you, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on with those guys. Kill him, I say. That guy's got a shield. He seems like he should be fairly tough to kill. He straight up isn't. You can punch right through his shield. And hey, drop some health once you're done. And then when we get to the final boss fight, our giant boss machines are going to have their own health bars anyway, so your health is not going to play a big deal in that. So now we have a super jump. We can super jump. I'm not sure if there's a way. I suspect there may be stuff to get if you were to backtrack your way through the level. I hadn't really given that too much consideration. But thinking about it now, I can definitely recall instances in which later powers that you get would come in handy earlier on in levels to go back and get important aspects of the level for basically for full completion, for 100%ing stuff. But yeah, I'm not going to bother doing that right now. We're just going to head to the end of the level. We're going to get ourselves a nice boss fight. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. It's going to be playing with some old school gaming ideas. It's going to be a good little level. All the levels kind of has their own, again, unique boss fights, as you might expect. I think most of them are sort of inspired by old stuff. I couldn't necessarily tell you what they all definitely are. There's one of the levels involves you stomping around in a giant mech thing that basically shoots lasers out the front, has a giant shield and stuff, and you're absorbing attacks and firing it back. I'm sure that's based on something, but I couldn't tell you what offhand. I'm sure somebody will be glad to oblige in the comments. This level, if this is the boss fight I think it is, this is almost certainly this is the Dr. Robotnik with the giant wrecking ball level. You know the one. You've played the one. Everybody has played that one. So yeah, we're gonna head on through to that. At the minute, it's just a lot of this. Each of the levels kind of has its own theme, so some of the enemies do get reused. Well, if we come back to the Insect Kingdom, and I have a feeling there will be other missions in the Insect Kingdom, then we'll see more of the enemies, because the Human Kingdom has come up in a couple missions so far, and both of them use exactly the same enemies, so there's no real progression in that sense, which again, once you've got the hang of what all the enemies do, there's nothing more challenging coming along later, as far as I can make out, really. One thing I'm not sure about is, we're killing all these guys and they're dropping these orbs. I don't know what those do. They don't appear to contribute to anything. Very hard to make out. They don't improve your money to any degree, they don't improve your health, they don't improve your ammunition. What those actually do has never been made abundantly clear, and you pick up loads and loads of them as you're killing all the enemies, and they kind of gravitate towards you. But the game has never explained what those are, which is just kind of a mystery. Doesn't seem to provide any incentive for it either. Whether that's like some feature that, I don't know, got cut and they forgot to remove the orbs or something, I don't know. It just seems very, very incongruous, because yeah, these things, like, what did that do for me? I'm not aware that did anything for me at all. It's just very, very peculiar. Oh yes, this bit's right. The bit where the floor falls out. This is also a little confusing, because that floor falls out, and then you get this next arena fight kind of thing, but this floor doesn't fall out. This floor doesn't go anywhere. You can punch it, you can break it as much as you want. This isn't falling. This one's sturdy. When it looks exactly the same as the floor that you were just introduced to that falls. In terms of game design, I feel like that's maybe a little bit lacking, because, you know, the way games have always historically worked is it conditions you to, you get introduced to a new mechanic, and like, this is how this works, this is how things that look like this work. To then have a room that uses exactly the same style of thing, but have it work in a different way is a little confusing. I mean, you're not going to die because of it, but, you know, your expectations have been set up and they work a little differently here. But then again, maybe isn't that just a metaphor for the whole game? You set up expectations and it does something entirely different. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just a giant metaphor. In spite of its quirkiness and sort of I would say almost mismatched style, there's so many different things going on. The game doesn't necessarily always seem to know what it is or wants to be. It's trying to do so many different things at once. You'd almost think that wouldn't work, but just as a whole, it kind of does. And maybe it doesn't feel quite as balanced as it should. I feel like either you go all out and have everything be different, or you put the bits that are in a bit different in kind of regular sections. You know, each of the boss battles different maybe, or have every level be different would be great, but as it is, that's actually, no, some of the levels are just all this platforming stuff, and then other levels like, here's the, I mean, this is done in the same style, but then the other boss battle, the one I mentioned before, your JRPG style boss battle, for some reason that was done all in pixel art style, so not only have you got a different mechanic going on, but you've also got an entirely different art style for the whole thing. So yeah, this guy, this is basically, I think this is basically a combo of two different Sonic levels, to be honest. You're the Wrecking Ball thing, And then I think the thing with the pillars was also in Sonic 2, I want to say? Kind of. Something very similar to this. This guy's basically the Insect Kingdom equivalent of Sonic right now. And yeah, it's a really cool fight. It's really nice to be able to play with these gadgets. Of course, you can move in a little bit, in a way that's a little less predictable for the hero. Whereas, you know, Robotnik was always pretty easy to predict. If he'd flown around a bit more erratically, he might have killed Sonic a bit more often. You got the health bars on both sides, which has no bearing on how much health I had before I got to this fight at all. This is a really cool fight. I enjoy this kind of thing. These mix things up. Honestly, I would just generally across the game, I would love to see more of these kind of things. The game's pitch, when you first see the concept of it, feels like there would be more of this sort of thing. I get that it would be very difficult to make a game entirely out of just a whole bunch of really unique concepts like this, but at the same time, when you've got quite a lot of platforming, it's like, this breaks it up and makes this really unique, and there's just almost not enough of it. This is a great bit, but I want more. I do want more. The styles, as I say, the styles... Oh, did I lose that? Did I? Was that a tie? I feel like it was a tie. I don't know how he got me enough times to get me. Let's kill this guy and get out of here, I think. So yeah, you got this, you got, as I say, it's kind of the one where you're in a giant mech playing almost a weirdly defensive kind of affair. You've got the pixel art kind of retro boss battle thing. I feel like I should have got more damage to him, but it's okay. This thing's really difficult to control. Like with the underwater level, you're swinging things around wildly. There have been many games that themselves have been designed around this mechanic, I think. Around the, hey, let's have you swing a weapon around behind you that's really unwieldy. Not that it's a bad concept, but it's tricky to wield. That's all I'll say. But even still, yeah, your boss fights, they're not overwhelmingly hard. There was trying to think what it was. There was one gave me a run for my money. It took me a couple of attempts to get the hang of it. I'm trying to think what it was now. There was one I had trouble with. This was not it. It's actually the first time I kind of... There's only one boss battle. I don't know why I died this time, but other than this one time, there's only been one boss battle that's even managed to kill me, actually, so far. Which, again, ties into the whole difficulty thing. The game is a little lacking on the difficulty front. So there we go. We got him. We got the insect hero. It's fine. We've kidnapped the insect queen. It's good. Let us fly off. Level complete. We didn't get the record. I take the detour to go get that. We got all the crowns, which are the other collectible. And we got a rank at the end of it, based on what we got. So there you have it. That is a level of this. What was I going to show you? We're going to show you some upgrades, which are not that way. They're down. Let's head on down. So we head down here. We do have an upgrade station hanging around down here, with an upgrade robot you can chat away to. They're over here. So upgrades, you basically get one different kind of projectile weapon and two different you can pick for up to two different upgrades to combine their effects for your fist punch. So you can either have a charged up attack, an explosive blast at the end of your punch, a extra range on your punch. That sounds like it would be like it would fire it off as a projectile. It doesn't, it just gives you more range on your punch. And that one just throws 3 punches, which you've seen. I've been using that. In fact, you've seen both of those. I've been using both of those. This is obviously my assault fire, but yeah, you can have a missile if you want as well. Let's head on out of here. So yeah, homing missiles. To be fair, I bought those. I actually haven't used those. And grenades are your default. You can also get a sticky upgrade as well. They're basically just stock standard fare that you'll pick up at the start of the game. So you can mix and match to choose your playstyle. Rockets and grenades kind of can be used for grenade jumping. The assault rifle, assault cannon, assault fire cannot be used for that. Tying in with the rocket punch being a bit misleading, I think some of the descriptions down here could use some work as well. I understand that they're going with the theme of it all being a little bit silly and quirky and whatnot, and just trying to give it a bit of fun flavor text. I get that, I appreciate that, but ultimately I don't think these descriptions work, because Certainly the ammo more than this, but the health upgrade is like, good for your bones, it's a health upgrade. Okay, great, it's stuff that's good for you. Armor plating sounds like it would work differently to health, but it doesn't, it's just more health. What is this, a treadmill? I guess it'll help my endurance. Is health. But it sounds like it would, I don't know, do more for your speed or something. I wouldn't have thought treadmill would be a health upgrade, right? On the other side of things, we've got the ammo upgrades here, which literally just increase the amount of ammo capacity you've got. You start with 3 available, you can up it up to 6, and yeah. These all just increase your ammo capacity by 1, but they don't sound like it. So microconverters in your suit speed up grenade fabrication time, so it improves how quickly they generate, right? No, it gives you an extra one. Nanobots build grenades faster. It sounds like you get them faster, right? No, it gives you more of them. You swap out your battery with antimatter that gives you a power boost. Ooh, we're going to use antimatter grenades now? That sounds powerful. It sounds like we're going to be a hell of an explosion there. No, it gives you more grenades. And, well, the upgrades cost 1,500, 2,000, and then 2,500 as you see there as you go up. So my mistake, it was initially, I was like, I'll buy the 2,500 one because I want the power. I want raw power. I don't need more ammunition. I just want bigger, badder boom. No, it just gave me more grenades. So instead of buying the 1,500 currency upgrade, I bought the thing that did exactly the same for 2,500. I mean, I guess it comes out in the wash because I bought them all now, but at the time, it's like, I could have used that 1,000 to buy something else that I wanted. So that's just a little bit misleading, that particular system. But otherwise, you know, broadly speaking, a lot of these upgrades are fun. It's none of these... The health and ammo are fairly bland, but it's fairly standard fare. But then all your actual weapons there, hey, all of these do interesting things. So credit to them for that. It's not just like, hey, your punch hits harder. Hey, your grenades are more powerful. These are genuinely, oh no, this does something different. So yeah, the upgrade system is good. I like the upgrade system. So that's that. So as I say, there's a whole lot more to the game. The boss battles are silly and ridiculous and endlessly varied. The theme is really cool. I'm digging the theme a lot. The ideas that are explored, the characters are cool. The design of some of these character sprites I'm not necessarily a huge fan of. Some of the sprites look actually pretty bad. When they come up in conversations and stuff, you see a higher detailed sprite at the top for like character portraits and things. Those things always look great. I mean, like this guy. Okay, that's a bad example. His portrait actually doesn't look great either. That guy's just not great. But some of the characters, certainly like during the dating game show, some of the characters like, oh, that character looks really bad when we see their sprites on the screen, but their portraits look great. So I don't know why there's a little bit of a mismatch in terms of style there. Music, I dig the music. The music's great in this game. It's got a good soundtrack. I mean, broadly speaking, the theme is really cool, and the ideas it explores are really neat as well. I mean, this may... Ooh, can I... Oh, I thought it looked like I was going to be able to jump off the edge of the ship. I cannot. There is something weird that goes on with the elevator, because the elevator sound effects play as you run back and forth across the top of your ship there. It took me a while to realize what that was. It's like, is that a money sound effect? No, it's... That's what that sound effect is. As you run across the top of the ship, for some reason it triggers elevator sound effects, so that's a bug, but hey, there you go. She's also a bug. There's many bugs in the game. There's a whole bug level. It's a level full of bugs. You know what I mean? We just saw it. We did the bug level. But there you go. That is broadly speaking Nefarious. I like it as a concept. It's not without its flaws. Certainly that options menu definitely needs some work, but on the whole, it's a pretty neat concept. I think it's well worth the look. This is coming out on the 23rd of January. It will be available for $14.99 or your regional equivalent, at least according to the Steam forums. Anyway, the developers haven't posted a price on the Steam page yet. That was just what I could ascertain from the forums. My concern, I feel, like I say, may be the length. I feel like I've got through a considerable amount of the game in about 3 hours, so I'm not entirely sure how much lifespan the game has. But it also seems like there's a few endings, so there may be some scope for some replayability in there as well. But on the whole, it's a pretty neat little game. If you think it's worth $15, I think it's worth checking out. But, you know, sort of for the potential lifespan of a game, there are people who like a good dollar to value ratio for the games. But I personally, I think you could certainly appreciate what you're getting for your $15 here. Can I make a speech here? I've never attempted to do anything here. I feel like I should be able to make a speech on that podium. It seems like the sort of thing the game would let you do, but no. Disappointed now. But there we go, that's enough of me running around Sovereign on my giant flying evil spaceship. Or, well, it's not in space, it's not a spaceship, my airship. Let's just call it what it is. But thank you for joining me, I've been Meroka, this has been Nefarious. I am happy to recommend this game, I'll put this on my Steam curation at some point when I get around to it. Yep, the game you should take a look at. Thank you very much for joining me, I've been Meroka. I'll see you next time.